These three things can fix your IT band pain permanently. My name is Dr. Jared, and your iliotibial band, or IT band, is thick connective tissue that runs down the outside of your leg and crosses your knee joint. IT band pain usually occurs on the outside part of your knee and can creep up into that IT band as well. This is a common overuse injury. Runners, cyclists, weight trainers, and people who just otherwise live an active lifestyle. Now, it's crucial that you understand that while the pain is right down here at the knee, it's often the symptom of a different cause. And most often that cause is a limitation in the range of motion at the hips, or tight hips, and decreased strength in the muscles that control the IT band, namely the gluteus maximus from the back and the tensor fasciae latae from the front. And so if we release the IT band, and if we stretch the areas that are tight and strengthen those muscles that are weak, you start to feel a lot better, you start to move a lot better, and you can return to those things that you otherwise love doing. This is how we do it. Step number one is a myofascial release to your IT band. And that's just the fancy way of saying we're gonna massage this to loosen things up a bit. I like to do this on a foam roller, but we need to be intentional with it. I don't want you to go mindlessly up and down right on top of your IT band. Rather, we're going to address all of the muscles and all of the areas that tie into the IT band to make that change. And so this is how I like to do it. We're gonna start right here on kind of the outside front of the hip, right in the hip flexor area, right where that TFL muscle is. And so we're gonna go right on the very edge of the foam roller, and I usually spend 20 to 30 seconds right here, and then we can creep down into the vastus lateralis. That's your quad muscle. So that's right where the quad and the IT band tie in. 20 to 30 seconds right there, and then we can roll over to the back. This is the hamstring muscle, lateral hamstring, right down the length of the back of that IT band. And then I like to finish right up in the glute in this position. So I'm gonna cross this leg over my other leg. So I'm foam rolling my right, it's crossed over my left, and this is a really great position to just release that glute max in the back. And again, what I like to do is spend about 20 to 30 seconds addressing each one of those areas, about 3 to 5 minutes total on that foam roller. That's your first step. Step number two is to stretch the areas that are tight in the hip. Here are the two most effective stretches for that. I want you to lie down on your unaffected side, and so I'm laying here on my left. This would be to treat my right knee. With my right hand, I'm going to grab my right ankle and pull my heel up towards my glutes until I get a good stretch right here through the front of the quad. But now what I want you to do is pull that knee back behind you until you get a good comfortable stretch right up here in the hip flexor. That gets us closer to the area that we want, but now the best part of this stretch, the most effective part for me anyway, is with my left foot, I'm actually going to hook the outside of my right knee and pull it down towards the ground. And so that is going to introduce an adduction motion in addition to the extension that I'm getting at the hip. That is a perfect stretch for that TFL, or that tensor fasciae latae muscle right here in the front. You would hold that in a comfortable position for about 20 seconds, and then we're going to repeat that 3 times. Now for the next stretch, this is going to require something to stretch with, a belt or a towel or a sheet. Dog leash works well. I have this stretch out strap, and we're going to stretch basically the glutes, the glute max, and the glute med as well. Here's how we do it. So I'm going to loop this around my affected leg and then lie down here on my back. Now in this position, if I pull straight up, that's a good stretch to the hamstring muscle. But instead, what I want you to do is pull over to the side. So I'm going to it's around my left foot now. I've got the tails in my right hand, and I'm going to actually pull them across my body until I get just this really good stretch right here in the back of my hip. And again, that's a great way to just flex that glute max out as it ties into the back of that IT band. What I want you to do is hold that for about 20 seconds, and then you can repeat that one 3 times as well. Now, if you've done steps 1 and 2 so far, your knee's probably feeling pretty good. We've loosened it up, we've stretched it out, but that brings us to the most important step in treating your IT band pain. Step 3 is strengthening. We need to strengthen the muscles in your hip that are acting on your IT band in order for it to function properly, in order for you to remain pain-free. These are the 4 exercises that I like to do that. Go ahead and lie down on your back. We're going to start with an exercise for your glute max muscle. The easiest thing to do would be a double leg bridge with both knees bent. I'm going to contract my glutes, lift my hips up towards the ceiling, hold for a 3 count, and return right back down. That would be kind of the step 1 in the bridge progression. Most people are tolerant to that. I like to go to the single leg bridge if you can. And so if I'm treating my right hip, I'm going to extend my left leg out straight and now just use that right glute to raise my hips up towards the ceiling. Hold 1, 2, 3, and then slowly return right back down. Try to keep your hips nice and level through this process. Don't let the hip that's suspended, or the leg that's suspended, don't let it fall down towards the floor. Use that glute muscle to keep your hips nice and flat, nice and straight while doing this exercise. 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps is a great number to shoot for. Now let's progress into the glute med group. I like to do some side-lying abduction to strengthen the hip abductors. We're gonna lie down. I'm on my left side. I'm going to work my right hip. That would be my affected leg. My left leg is bent, my right leg is out straight. Now I'm going to contract these muscles right here on the top part of my hip to pull my heel up towards the ceiling. Hold 1, 2, and then slowly return right back down to that starting position. Try to keep your hips stacked with this one. I don't want you to roll backwards. I don't want it to become a hip flexor exercise. Keep those hips right on top of each other. Lead with that heel. That's how we ensure that we're working the right muscles. 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps there as well. Now to take that lateral strengthening to the next level, I like to do that with side planks. And so I like to start with a modified side plank. If it were my left knee and my left hip that I'm working on, I'm going to prop up onto my left elbow with my left knee bent, and then we come up into this position right here. I'm working left obliques, but I'm also working these left hip abductors to stabilize myself in this position. Usually I try to hold that for about 20 to 30 seconds 3 times. If that's too easy, we can progress up to the full plank by extending that left leg out straight, and now we're gonna pop up into this position. I'm up on my left elbow, I'm on the outside of my left foot, and I'm nice and straight from my nose to my belly button, between my knees, between my ankles. It's a lot more intense. You feel it more in these obliques, should feel it more in those hip abductors as well, but the parameters are going to stay the same. I want you to try to hold that for 20 to 30 seconds and repeat it 3 times. Finally, it's always my goal to progress strengthening to upright and weight bearing to make things a little more functional. This is one of my favorite exercises to strengthen the entire hip. It's actually a combination of 2 exercises. This is a deadlift hip hike. What I want you to do is stand on the affected leg with a slight bend in your knee, and we're gonna perform the deadlift part first. So hinge at your hip, keep your back nice and straight, lift your opposite leg up behind you until we get into this position right here. Now I want you to pull with your glute to return to this upright position so it looks just like this. You'll feel a lot of glute max kick on as you do that exercise. But now when you're in that position, I want to add a hip hike. You're going to contract the muscles in this leg that you're standing on to lift the opposite hip up towards the ceiling, just like this. And so if I let this hip drop, you can see that's below the level of my hip. I'm going to fire these muscles to pull that hip up towards the ceiling, up kind of towards my shoulder into that position. And so we're going to combine those 2 exercises. And so the deadlift, we're going to hinge at the hip right here. We're going to pull through the glute max to return to upright. Now from here, we're going to kick on the other hip abductors, lift that hip up towards the ceiling, and then return back to that neutral position. And so the deadlift, we're going to hinge at the hip. We're going to pull with the glute to this position here, and then we're going to kick on the abductors to add the hip hike up towards the ceiling, and then return right back down. 10 repetitions repeated 3 times is the number that I want you to try there. I hope this helps your IT band knee pain to feel better. Thank you so much for watching.